What is going on? It's A Coach Camp Salute. Listen, I want to thank Claudia Acuna for joining me on the show live. Unfortunately, but fortunately, we live in New York City, so there's some sounds that I just could not cut out. I wanted to keep the session as authentic as possible, so please stay tuned. All right, welcome to. Joining me now, we have Latin Grammy nominee Claudia Acuna. I got it right. See there, I got it right. She is a jazz and Latin American music extraordinaire. And I would like to thank her so much for coming on the show, part of our Women Empowerment Series. Ooh, yes. Live from the Rollet Dance Studio.
You gotta do it right.
You gotta do it right.
You gotta give the credit.
Yes, absolutely. I'd like to thank Claudia for being here. I always like to do my flower segment early. I love your music. I listen to it, calms me down. Such a calm and beautiful vibe. My wife joins in it as well. We've been to your shows. Got to sit in the front row one time, and I was like, so very talented and very gracious and humble person. So thank you so much for giving your time to the children who had some questions for you. So give us a brief bio about yourself. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much for inviting me to this show. It's my pleasure and honor as an artist, as a person who lives in Brooklyn, a parent from the school. I have a fifth grader. My name is Claudia Acuna, and I was born in Chile, a tiny little country in South America. I was raised in a dictatorship, very challenging time. I always believed that I was a soul that came to finish something that she or he didn't finish in another life. I'm saying this because ever since I can remember having memory or desire for or a call for something, it's been music, singing. It was not allowed for me to pursue music, but I was very lucky that in my early years in school, I had choir, I have music, I have language, I have different things that allowed me at the school, and I have amazing teachers that saw that talent in me, and they supported me the best that they could in that environment. And at the age of 16, early 17, I finished high school and I was raised in the south of Chile, and I moved to the capital to pursue this dream. And I kind of lied to my parents saying that, oops, I was going to college to study classical music, because at the time in Chile, the only music that you could study and get a degree, which it was my parents' concern to have a degree and have something to face life in the future as an adult. I couldn't study. It was not any facility or temple or college to study what I wanted to study. So my only way out of my small town was to say, I'm going to become a classical singer. I didn't. A year and a half after that, I left college. I was already doing commercial. I became very popular in my country doing my music, but also as a voiceover. I used to do a lot of cartoon voices and commercials. And after like 3 years, I packed my things. I bought a ticket. I sold everything that I could sell back home, and I moved to New York in October 8, 1994, with $2,000 in my wallet, no English, except for whatever I learned in school, which it was very poor, nothing like this. And I was another immigrant that came with a bag with dreams and hopes. So that's a little my biography at the moment.
Wow. So all those stories and movies that you see, the person, grabbing their bag and hopping on the train and going to start new somewhere, it's living embodiment and found success doing it. It can happen if you jump out and you pursue your dreams. And what a powerful story.
Yeah.
And to go out there and go get it, go chase it, find your passion and grit. There it is, right there.
Passion
Mm-hmm.
and also purpose
Mm.
and a little bit of fear. I think a little bit of fear keep your toes, moving. And I also, as a young person, I used to ask myself. We're talking about high school, college. I used to think, if music or this thing that I love so much, I don't want to ask myself when I get to be 30, 40, 50, I used to think, and ask myself, what would have happened if I would have taken a chance?
Mm.
What's the worst that can happen when you take a chance?
Mm-hmm.
That things don't work the way you want it. Well, in general, things don't ever work the way you want it. You have to make it, and you have those moments of luck or fortune or being at the right place at the right time, but it's the focus. And I did not want to ask myself later in life, what if?
Wow, right? You never wanted to question yourself and
No.
have that, what if I didn't try? What if I didn't take a chance of that opportunity? And you went out and you did it. I mean, that is great. This is stuff that the kids need to hear. A lot of them are afraid to take that chance, even in this small space, to try something new, to let everybody know about their interest, because it's not, the popular thing or the cool thing to think at the moment, and then they wind up missing opportunities. But when you jump out and you take advantage of those opportunities, or you go to get your opportunities, wonderful things can happen. Yeah.
Well, I didn't have a lot of opportunities, so I took what I could have access and make it work.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, sometime at school you're not going to be the most popular. I was bullied when I was at school. I was sort of like a nerd and very weird. That's kind of the concept. But at the same time, I was very popular because of my singing, and I was doing all those funny voices even as a child. But I feel that when you have something, a call, something that only you know that you wanted, the only thing that you can do is to pursue that dream and that purpose, because you want to be happy giving your life and your time to your profession. And even though you might not know right now what you want, I'm sure you will find something that makes you excited, something that makes you feel like, I want to do this. And the only limitations are being put by yourself, because in my case, my parents didn't allow me. So I have to start fighting really early in life to try to convince my parents that what I wanted to do, being a musician, was a career,
Right.
It was a career like a doctor, a teacher, or a lawyer, the traditional things.
Yeah. So there's this perception that the arts are not really, real jobs. You're not pursuing real jobs. And although it is a quote unquote more difficult field to get into, but you can definitely find your love, your passion, a career. You find success in the arts. And I think we have to find a way to reshape our thinking around those things in that area.
And expand, because you might have passion for something today. Let's say one of the kids love numbers and another one loves sports. Maybe none of them are excellent on it, but because of the love for that, who knows, maybe one of them is going to end up being an architect, discovering that he loved or she loved architect. Or the one who does sports, maybe he's going to be a physical therapy or someone. It's so many extension of careers right now, and it's so much more than, for example, where and when I grew up. And the kids today have a lot of access to things.
Yes. I'm glad you stated that, because that's how I got into coaching. I hadn't, I'm old enough now to admit I had no business playing Division II basketball. No business. But the coach saw that I loved it enough. I was passionate about it that he allowed me on the team in the space. I mean, eventually I worked myself up to
Right.
being able to play, but he saw that I loved it enough that I would be able to pursue coaching. So playing in the NBA was the dream, but I got to coach in college, and still maintain that passion within myself. So being exposure, right? You're talking about being exposure, taking advantage of different networking and opportunities is very important, and that's why you should pursue your passion, because you never know what's going to come out from it.
Or pursue something that you like, because in that you will find your purpose. I believe that we were born, and yes, life is not easy. Believe me, I was raised in a dictatorship. I experienced things as a child that now as an adult I realize how traumatized they were. But it's life, and what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I believe strongly now as an adult, and after all this journey, that we're here to have a purpose, and we're here to be happy. And if we don't show up for ourselves, how can we show up for anybody else? And you're not going to be maybe the most popular, or you might be the most popular, but at the end it's your own journey. Your friends, your parents, your siblings, your boyfriend, your teachers, nobody's going to come there to get you out of the bed and make a decision that only you can make. And right now you might not know anything. You might have no idea. You might don't give a damn about anything. But if you sit silently, I'm sure right somewhere here, you and only you know there's one thing that you love, that you like, that makes you excited, that makes you want to dance. And that's where you might want to start to find your purpose. And through music, I discovered that I love education. And that's why I do, when sometime I go on tour or have a performance somewhere, I could give master classes, or I collaborate with a couple of situations where I involve kids, college students, young students. Because the way I grew up, I'm always going to be thankful for my junior, the equivalent of here, my junior teachers. If it wasn't for those teachers that will put me in the choir and motivate me, / my parents telling me no, I would have never maybe have. You need one person sometimes that tells you, you got it, you know. But it's something that I've always wanted to do, music. I wanted to learn to play instruments. Everything is about music. Everything has always been about music and connected. And through music, I've discovered other things that I want to pursue or dedicate my time to learn.
Wow.
So my name is Ella Van Ness, and I was just wondering, what motivated you to become a singer, and what were some challenges that you have faced on your path to becoming a singer?
The first challenge was my parents. And that was very difficult, because that brought me a lot of self-doubt and insecurities. So then when I was singing at school and people would be quiet to hear me, I was like shy. It took me years to have self-confidence. The other challenge was to make my own path with no support, and sort of get to people to know me. Then the biggest challenge was to move to another country. I'm an immigrant. I didn't speak the language. I'm not from this side of the world, and that was a huge challenge to to have left everything that I knew. I don't have family here, so that was huge. That was a huge challenge. And then others along the way to deal with bad critics, people that wants to do bad to you. It's a difficult business, but as you grow up, you find that it's not such a thing as easy. You know, you're always going to find challenges, and those challenges, I believe, come to you for us to show up for ourselves.
Yeah, show up for yourself.
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely. I love that.
And I've made a lot of mistakes,
Mhm.
and through those I've learned as well. But I think those have been the biggest challenge. I mean, I have many more, but I think my family first, and then moving to another country.
It's difficult when you start something and you want to have the support of your family, but sometimes your family has a vision of you.
Correct.
Right, and it's hard to break that mold.
Correct.
So you actually have to kind of be a little bit defiant in showing them that who you are and why
Right.
you're pursuing it in order to break that idea of, that they have of you.
Right.
It could be tough.
And that could be the first big wall, or like as a young person, I used to look at them as my enemies. It's
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna leave, and I did left. And as an adult, and now as a parent, I can have a lot of compassion for them because I see how they were raised, how my mom was raised, and they did the best that they could.
Right.
And maybe life or God, whatever you want to believe, it was my path to have those first encounters of difficulty to prepare me for what was coming later for me, moving from my small town to the capital, dealing with those challenges there.
Right.
Like I couldn't even rent an apartment by myself because I was too young. People didn't believe that I was an actual professional singer and jingle and commercial work. I was like, how come you as a young person have an account and pay for your own bills and you're not even 20 years old? You should be leaving your house with a wedding dress. And then when he realized that I was in fact singing at the opera house and the choir and doing this, and he apologized to me because as an old man, he had never experienced a young woman my age in his lifetime that would come with her checkbook and be like, how much is the deposit?
What are you talking about? Yeah.
Where are your parents?
Yeah.
So my point is that believe that all the challenge that you face today are your preparation for what's coming later. And be a warrior.
No.
And show up for yourself.
Show up for yourself.
I'm going to keep repeating that.
No, please do. They need to hear that message. Show up for you. I need to hear that message. Show up for yourself.
Believe me, I said that every day.
What would you tell your younger self?
Don't wear so many big clothes. Like if you were 300 pounds. Don't be afraid to show your beautiful body. And please sing looking at people. Don't hide behind the big bass. And you'll be okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So be in front, right? Own who you are.
Yeah.
Right? That's it. Own you didn't.
I didn't.
Took time.
I used to wear clothes super big to hide myself. I was traumatized, so I didn't want to show my body, and I used to be so shy that I used to sing like
that. Beautiful voices.
Like the bigger the bass player and the bass, the better, right?
Come from behind the bass, show who you are.
Yeah.
Be in front.
Yeah. You'll be okay.
You'll be okay. Say that. Say you'll be okay.
You'll be okay.
You'll be okay.
It's been a real honor to be here and be part of this beautiful show. I want to leave you with a message as an adult. You have a beautiful community. You have an amazing teachers. Some of them you might not like sometimes, but they're here for you. If you don't have the support at home, you can find it here. You just got to show up for yourself and speak up, because nobody reads mind. Don't mind what other thinks. Believe in yourself. It's corny, but it's true. If you ever see me around and you want to talk more about music, what it takes to produce and write, I'm a singer, songwriter, producer. I just finished my second album independently because I decided to go independently, and I have my own little label now. And I just produced a beautiful album that I'm going to release. If you're curious, follow me on Instagram at Claudia Acuna Musica. And I wish you the best. You have wings, and you can always open them and fly as far as you want. But don't forget your roots. Your roots are your roots, and you're always going to want to come home. You might today want to go as far as you want, and believe me, do it. I went around the world. I camped in the desert of Sinai, etc., etc. But don't forget your roots. But don't forget to open your wings and go as far as you want. The only limitations are being put by yourself and your brain. Everything else, you can make it through if you work hard and if you believe in yourself, if you're honest, if you're kind, if you have compassion and empathy. I wish you the best, always and always.
Wonderful. That's beautiful. Thank you for coming on. Love that message. I'll end with my quote. I'm not going to try and top that, but I'll end with my quote. Any and everything you do with passion and grit. Find your passion and get to it. See you on the flip side. Peace. And cut and scene. Wow.